And no, I am terrible. I leave them, it's not my highest priority, unfortunately, so.
I kind of wanted to bring the men of Costa Rica into the 20th century, well, it's the 20th century then. They all carried black ones, just everybody, and the small ones. And so I asked, and sure enough, they had a store where they had golf umbrellas, and I was able to get a nice big white and blue paneled one.
Yeah.
I was hard pressed to lose that.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
stuck out.
that was my theory, that I would have a hard time losing if it were brightly colored, but no. My blue and gold one.
Well, did you hear if anyone's not going to be here?
I did. I sent out to Hoyt. Our new member Lucas is in Spain.
Oh, okay.
So his mother said that he is very excited to be able to join us. He was just voted in the last council meeting. It was the 16th. So.
Oh, you're over here.
You are next
Right
to
next
Michael.
to Mike.
Okay. Lucas, what's his last name?
Giraldi's
Left hand.
Okay. That doesn't ring a bell.
He has been a young ambassador on
Oh,
two of
good.
our trips.
Yay, okay.
And I think he goes to Home Harbor, if I remember
All right,
correctly.
excellent, excellent.
welcome.
It's
4:01.
Do we have a quorum?
I think now we do.
Yay.
Okay. I would like to call the meeting of the Sister City Advisory Board for July 25th to order. I have 4:02 p.m.
we'll just say 4.
That'll work. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the April 25th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And are there any citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda?
She's my guest, so she's just hanging out with me today.
Okay. So, is there any citizen out there? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to new business items. So item 4.1, introduce new youth member.
Okay.
Well,
So it is recorded in the minutes. Lucas Giraldi Smith was reviewed and approved by the City Council at their regular meeting on July the 16th. Lucas is joining us as a youth member. His family sends regrets. He is currently studying in Spain over the summer, but will return and attend our October meeting. So he looks very much forward to joining us and serving as an active role.
That's wonderful.
Excellent.
Is he the one you were talking about, Candy, that has been
Yes,
on
he's
some
been
of the
on our trip
earlier
twice.
trips? Oh, that's wonderful.
And he has continued to stay involved with us.
Good. Oh, excellent.
Do you know what grade he's in?
I think maybe, oh gosh, I don't know if he's starting 10th or 11th.
okay.
I think he's going into 11.
Okay.
I'll double check that. He'll be able to tell you next.
Yeah.
He might get to drive to our meeting.
Yeah,
Ooh.
really.
I just wondered why he hadn't applied for the high school program.
I think because he was going to Spain this summer,
Okay.
but there are plans that he will.
Oh, okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, item 4.2.
Review and provide direction on staff recommendations for exchange program updates. I will reference this in item number 4.4. However, regarding our program, staff recommends that we streamline our process to select and review potential homestay families. That has always been a point of some effort to make sure that we have enough families to house our school students, our exchange teachers, and any citizen delegates that will be joining us as part of the 60th anniversary cultural exchange. So I will reference that again in 4.4, and you will see an application that we have done online that we'll be able to share. As far as other internal recommendations, I would say that in speaking with Pam Benton, who is our representative from Pinellas County School Board, that in our future selections for students going to Nagano as part of our high school exchange, that we, in consideration of their performance abilities, also consider their abilities as far as academia, as far as general joviality, general ease of getting along with other students, and being able to represent a bright and beautiful attitude while visiting Japan. That we consider these factors in reviewing future students. So that I will put into my internal documents and use those as qualifications. We have also moved to try and involve the city's Moccasin Lake Center. They've had a new director or new manager out there, and they would wish to have more cultural opportunities at the park. And so with Pam's recommendation, we've scheduled all of the orientation meetings to occur for the next round of students to be at Moccasin Lake. So they'll be able to take part in that. So,
That's great.
May I add something?
yes.
I wanted to let the group know, one of the students that went with me this year to Japan, when we were trying to figure out what gifts we wanted to give to the mayor and to the superintendent and to people, she recommended that we get clear frames and that we press flowers and we put them between them. And so we actually gathered the flowers at Moccasin Lake Park, and in the center there, we pressed those flowers and got those all ready and prepared frames, and they came out really beautiful. And they were very, very well received in Japan.
Nice.
I think they really liked that connection to the Clearwater Park, and that the students themselves had gathered the flowers. And we also put a photo of the students with the flowers, and it was really nice.
That's
It was really
great,
nice.
Pam. Good idea.
It wasn't my idea, it was one of the kids.
Yeah,
but
that's
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
So staff would seek any additional, if you have any additional recommendations that we would look into amending our program at all from the board, if you have any.
When we, I'm sorry,
Go
just
for
a
it.
question. When we review the candidates, Pam, do we have some, are you the consistent one, or is there various different people that are drawn into the interviews?
Candy and I have been on the committee each year.
Okay, great.
And
I
then the
participated in the last one.
representative, and Mike was there last time
Okay,
too.
good.
And then there is the list, and I'm going to propose it. Chris and I have not had a chance to have a real meeting since I've returned, and I have a lot of ideas and things that I think, small things that can be done to improve the way that we choose the students and some things like that. One of my concerns is having consistency in the preparation of the chaperone and the students. And so that was really the purpose of me going this year, was for me to have a deeper understanding of what the program's all about and what the person who is the chaperone needs to do and how they need to prepare the students, and then what we can do to prepare the students prior to going and while we're there. And so one of the things that I'm working on is I want a little bank of people that we can draw from for chaperones, people who are already really familiar with the program, who probably would not want to go every year. You know, they keep sending Fumi, which is fantastic for us, from Japan with the students. But maybe somebody who would go once every 3 years or something like that, and have a few people that we can rely on, so that if it doesn't work out one year, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been working on some of those things, and Chris and I will talk about those. So there are a lot of small things, but, you know.
Well, I think
I'd
the
like
two
to
of you-
participate in that meeting, because I work for the schools as a guidance counselor, so I think I'd have some good insight too.
Okay. It's already taken place for this year,
Uh-huh.
but
Well,
there's
yeah,
no
no,
problem
I'm
with
talking
that.
about the meeting between the two of you.
Oh, between the two of us?
Sure.
Okay, sure. I
Don't
think
forget the
we've already
sunshine
said it,
law.
but anyway, we can figure that out. I think there are a lot of small tweaks, but I don't think there are any big substantive. I think the program itself is excellent. And I think that with small tweaks, we can make it even better than it is, but I don't think there's anything big and substantive
Okay.
that would need to change.
Regular course adjustments.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I totally support the three of you being the interviewers and what have you. And you might have a little bank of, I call it my bullpen of people that you can call on from time to time.
Right.
too.
Well, and I think this, this committee, obviously,
Right.
is a good place to draw from, and then including the chaperone and one of the former students. One of the students, each
Yep.
year,
Yep.
we've had one of the students, since the first year, who participated the year before, comes and
Okay.
helps us with the interviews as well. So,
Great.
yeah, I think
Thank
that's
you.
great.
Thanks.
Item 4.3.
Review and approve direction for proposed high school exchange from Nagano for December 6th through 14, 2019. So I was able to settle on a date with Fumi, who is representing the Nagano School Board. We will accept the students December 6th through 14. They had originally anticipated coming in October, but with our delegation going to Japan at pretty much the same time that they were requesting, that would be very, very difficult for us to take on. Specifically, I will be traveling with the delegation, and so the standard departmental representatives will be gone and not be able to receive them. So we were able to find a compromise December 6th through 14. For 2020, they are requesting sort of a mid to late October, which will work fine. We are expecting that the official delegation from Japan will arrive in the early part of October. I believe it is the 6th through the 10th or something similar. So that will be the official 60th anniversary delegates from Nagano. And so if there are any considerations as far as preparing for our visitors, be it homestays, or activities that we can suggest to the homestay families as a fun activity to do together, staff is open to hear those and add those to the list of recommendations for the host families. And then we will also have our traditional sayonara party, and we'll have a city day as well, where the students will be able to meet the council, and depending upon what's happening that point of time in the city, we can see if they can join in on the city activity.
I'm sorry, see if I can join.
A city activity, whether it be a Parks and Recreation event or something happening that's fun. We may have a carnival. It just really depends what's going on that year.
One question, I think I got caught up in the dates. So the students are coming this year, December, we think next year they'll come in October.
Correct.
And then did you say the official delegation from Nagano?
Will come next year in October.
They're, okay, because they usually come in February, but they're gonna
Yes,
come out.
they've requested to come in October.
And did you have were you throwing the dates out?
October 6th through 10th.
6th to the 10th, okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Just a question, Michael, to
Yeah.
Christopher. Very often, they do request a trip to Disney or one of the theme parks or
Yes.
to the Space Center or something. Do we know what else they're going to be doing?
That's to be set still.
Okay, it's a work in progress.
I'm not entertaining any recommendations from the board, but I'll also look into some, staff-wise as well.
Mhm.
And there is that traditional trip out to Disney. We may take them to, trying to think of what park has the Star Wars land opening up, but they may want to see that.
It used to be the MGM, the Hollywood
Hollywood
Studios or
Studios,
whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Because I know you weren't here last year. They actually requested not to do a Disney
Oh, is that right?
or anything
Oh, my
last
God.
year. They wanted additional time in the school. And so
Isn't
Fumi
that refreshing?
requested, she said, we have Disneyland in Tokyo.
Yeah,
It's
right.
really very much the same. And they requested to have additional time in the school because they like the school time so much.
That's great.
So,
Oh, that's very good news.
yeah, and that, I have some notes about some things that we did in Nagano so that maybe we can think of similar things that we could do with them in
Oh,
Clearwater.
That's great.
That
I'm
kind
so
of
glad
thing.
you went. That's
I am too.
just
That's,
wonderful.
I think I accomplished the goals of, my goals of the trip, so that was
That's
good.
great.
Thank you.
Excellent, sure.
okay, item number 4.4.
Approve an online recruitment form for homestay host family application. So in your packets, you'll have a copy of that. It's a 4-page form. This was something I created online with the assistance of our IT department. It is up on our sister cities page, although we have not widely distributed it. I just feel this will really increase our ability to take in new applicants. Of course, with our usual review process, we will have them go through a background check to make sure that they are a safe environment for our visitors. But this is a link that we can easily share amongst prospective visitors or prospective homestay hosts. And I think it'll really help boost us.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I pulled through some of the other sister cities programs that I've seen around in the area to get some questions that might assist us in pairing up families.
Right.
And then you've got your usual as far as activities, pets, number of people in the home.
So I'm giving this a very cursory glance, but is there a space that says, I have children in the school and this is where they are?
We have students and grade levels.
Oh, okay.
And it's under the additional family members section. I can clarify that though. Sally, that's a very good point. It's a very easy addition to the form of just adding in a section.
Might be good to emphasize that.
I wonder if we want to include somewhere, please describe the area where the person would sleep or something like that.
That's very
Whether they would have a separate room, if they're going to be sharing, if they'd be on a pull-out sofa.
Right.
accommodations.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's a good point, Pam.
The reason I say that is Jace was at a home where there were 7 people in the family.
7 family members?
My family was also 7 people.
Uh-huh.
But he shared with 2 boys. And he was fine with that, and there was no problem. But I think it's the first time that that's happened in general. The students have had their own
Right,
space
right.
there. And so,
At the very least, they put them in the tummy in the common room. or
right,
something like
right.
that.
And that's, and so I asked Fumi to be sure and let us know about that. Luckily, Jace was very flexible and it was no problem. But you could have another student who felt less comfortable with something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
And I
Good
think
idea.
for us to know that here too would be good.
Okay, I will add those 2 things to the form.
Thanks.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the application
So moved.
with the following suggestions?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item 4.5.
Review draft of Sister Cities 60th Anniversary My Clearwater Magazine article. Board, before you, you've got a draft. It's rather generic, but it does provide our citizens with a look into the history of the program, especially given that they will see more information regarding Nagano because of the trip this year within the official delegation. On the bottom, you'll see an appeal for homestay host families. That's the last part of the article, which spurred some of the interest in getting this online application up and running, that we can direct any interested parties to that. Looks much nicer in color.
I don't know if you
Not
want to
bad.
add that we also have the teacher exchanges
Yes.
that have been going
I
on.
think there's a small section, but we can broaden that a little bit.
In, yeah, the bottom paragraph.
Oh, I
To
see.
start the teacher
I see.
exchange
Well, I was,
program.
annual exchanges began with middle and high school students and continue this day. I was just thinking we could also put in teachers, but I didn't read the next paragraph yet.
Christopher, do we know anything about comparing our sister city program with other sister city programs? I suspect ours is one of the longer
It is.
running.
Very much so.
You know.
Our program started in '59. The official Sister Cities program started at 56.
Uh-huh,
So we are in the top echelon of oldest programs.
right.
I do not know where we rank as far as that, but we are one of the most continuously active programs in the nation. So it is certainly something to be proud of here in the city.
Right.
I have heard as well through conversations that we do more exchanges than most
Yes.
cities do, since we
Yeah.
do teachers
Uh-huh.
and 2 levels of students,
Delegations,
and then the official delegation.
delegations. Uh-huh.
Christopher, I'm just wondering on this picture, do we have a recent picture of maybe some of the high school
I'd
students
be happy to change it out.
in front of, I just,
That's a good
would that
idea.
make it more,
Yeah,
We definitely have pictures from this
yeah,
year.
you can share anything.
Sure, absolutely. I have hundreds.
just thinking it might be more relevant having our
Yeah.
students.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Digital photos are a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love Zenkoji though, don't we?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's excellent that we're such an active program. There's so many programs that are sisters in name only, essentially.
Really, very
Right.
dormant.
So to
Yeah.
see that, and especially even larger, St. Pete's a larger city. They're the second. You know, with Takamatsu, they rarely will do any exchanges with them.
Right.
Well, they do a yearly exchange.
Do they?
Yeah, there's a student exchange every year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I write recommendation letters for kids every single year that apply for that,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's nice.
All right.
But it's not like ours. This, I think this program is just really well developed and people care about it and know about it, and I think it's really different in that way.
And the Sister Cities Inc. is, you know, the wonderful kind of subset that a
Exactly,
lot of organizations
exactly.
don't have to do
That's
that.
right.
So just all through the cities. Do you need approval on this, Christopher?
Yes, please.
oh,
Move to approve
Yes.
with, is that okay,
yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Well, is there a motion to approve the article as written?
I'll move approval as written with revisions as suggested.
I second.
All in favor?
I
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item 4.6.
Provide direction for 60th anniversary official delegation visit from Nagano. So as I had stated, we are looking to receive them on the 6th through the 10th of October in 2020. Now, we have yet to gear up for that, but we do have, over the last few years, the council has set aside funds for the purpose of budget for that reception of visitors. Traditionally, with the 55th anniversary visit, we had followed a citizen and elected official track. The citizens had done some tourism and sightseeing, while the elected officials had a more formalized commerce, tourism, government business track. It'll be interesting to see, as we're going over first to Nagano this time, how they will run their program, and we'll have the benefit of a year to prepare with that.
Right.
I was thinking exactly that.
And so that will be our little ace in the hole this time. But given the attention that our area has been receiving as far as tourism accolades, it's very much fitting as far as adding a tourism, or rather beefing up the tourism component, meeting with visits in Clearwater and talking about local initiatives, but also learning from our hosts as far as transportation in the area. How do they maximize the use of transportation for their tourism and their own citizens getting around? Additionally, one thing I'd like to speak with our contemporaries over there is about technology and adapting that. Downtown Clearwater has seen a surge in tech industry, and the towers that the tower I work in and immediately next door are full of new tech startups that are bringing a younger and diverse population to downtown. I'd like to see how our contemporaries are working in that, and potentially anything we can learn from them as well. So I think it's a very fruitful potential for exchange this time. We'll see what they have to show us. Follow suit.
Excellent. Item 4.7.
Provide direction for proposed sister cities' relationship with Bourges, France. So things have moved along quite well with our not negotiations, but with our communications with Bourges. I've been in touch with the Vice Mayor, Eric Messidieu. Hopefully I got that right. And he's very much in favor of putting something over the mayor's desk in France. I have been following the Sister Cities International's recommendations for starting a new Sister Cities program. They have a protocol and a list of recommended steps. They are as follows: initial communication, focused communication, communication between the elected officials, and then you get into investigation of exchanges. That's where we're at now. The mayors have sent greetings to one another, which helps us bring things before the council. So in the coming week and a half, I will be meeting one-on-one with each of the council members to gauge their interest, or rather their time frame of interest in moving the relationship forward. Regardless of an actual action on an exchange, what can be done without any need for much internal movement is that we can establish a relationship with Bourges. That would basically take the form of a proclamation establishing Clearwater as a sister city with Bourges, and allow us then to enter into an agreement and a partnership as official sister cities. And that agreement will outline how our program will operate, how the exchanges will operate, and the priorities for exchange as far as commerce, technology, tourism, etc. One of the benefits of being paired with Bourges is that they have the Monin Syrup Company is based there, as well as we have a base here in Clearwater, a Hercules. One of the employees that was living here in Clearwater is living over there now, and they will be returning to Clearwater soon. So we'll have that nice little tie in as well. So things are going quite nicely.
Is that how it kind of bubbled up because of this employee, or is, I don't know?
I think possibly it was Bourges that approached us because of the Monin connection. And so that really has spurred on a lot of it.
I hate to be such a so geographically ignorant, but where is it?
Smack in the middle.
Yes.
Oh, you're looking it up.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Looked it up.
And I was racking my brain from the last meeting.
So the little red dot there in the
Oh,
middle of
yeah.
that map.
Yeah.
So smack in the middle.
It really is smack
I
in
think
the
it's
middle.
about an
Okay.
hour and a half from here.
I maybe on the Ave. Well, Ave, that's Spain. The TGV, the bullet train.
Bullet train,
If
okay.
you take the bullet train, maybe it would be probably a similar distance in Tokyo to Nagano. Very similar distance. I think on a regular train or a bus, it would probably be 4 hours or so. 67,841 population.
Okay.
Oh, nice, kind of similar size.
Yeah.
Different environment and landscape, though, obviously.
Right.
It's not on the
That's
water.
probably going to be a lot more rural
Yeah.
feeling
Right,
than
right.
here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, I think that's,
It's exciting.
I'm very excited.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
it.
Great potential.
I'm delighted.
You know, there
You needed a
exists-
new challenge, Christopher, and that.
I'll take one on. I wouldn't mind talking with France. I can learn the new culture.
Fantastic.
Now, I
That'd
know
be
we
great.
had a discussion at the last meeting that we were going to contact them and see if one of
It was the Monin. Yeah.
someone in the business would want to be on the
Right.
board. Do you know?
I made 6 calls and I got no response.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
And so I just dropped it. I thought, maybe it's not the right time, maybe it's not. And we didn't know who had made the original, so I was just calling like their 800 number, and and saying hello. And I left a number of messages, but I didn't hear back from anyone. But it may be, I
They
mean,
said, who is this crazy woman? that
well,
keeps
and I
talking
think
about?"
that's probably the customer service
Yeah,
number,
right,
you know?
right.
And so they probably had no idea. So I was thinking, well, maybe they'll, forward this upstairs or something. But maybe if you have access to information about who in Clearwater made an original, that would be the person to talk to.
I think how it all started is we got a message on our Facebook page. And then I sent it
Really?
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Would it help if one of us went to the office on Hercules? And
Well, yeah, if the board will allow, I can speak to my vice mayor contact, and that may put us
Shed
right
light.
through.
Okay.
They regularly meet with the company in
Yeah, there you
France, so.
Probably the best way to
That
handle
might be
it. Yeah.
the most direct contact.
So do we need to, approve you calling?
Pat, I don't think. Consensus? Okay.
We're going to bless you and go for it.
Thank
you.
Christopher.
Just so we all
Please.
know, because I'm looking it up, Clearwater and Bourges must have been founded around the same time. Bourges was founded in 52 BC.
Oh,
Very good.
oh yeah, I remember that day, yeah.
They very likely had a population of a couple hundred.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Or may have
Sorry.
been underwater.
Yeah, keep this on our radar. This sounds really exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this.
I know our board was excited to hear that possibly
Yeah.
we would be expanding the program and the thought of having possibly exchanges.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
New
would be great.
engagement with other people,
Mhm.
that
Right,
are not just
right.
Japanophiles and so on.
yeah, fantastic.
Okay, moving on to item 5, old business items, item 5.1.
Approve verbal city staff post-trip report from high school exchange to Nagano, July 29th. It was a good trip, and I had put these agenda items in thinking that I would have had a chance to meet with Pam prior to coming today.
And unfortunately, that's my fault. It's not Chris's.
No, it's, but if we can, the staff would request a continuance to the next meeting.
So moved to
Is
continue.
I second.
all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Because that will
Okay.
accomplish exactly what you wanted to accomplish, some of those
Right.
tweaking of things that
Exactly.
Pam has spoken about earlier. That's great.
So item 5.2.
Provide direction for 60th anniversary official delegation visit to Nagano, October 20 through 29, 2019. So this is our trip. I wanted to give you a staff update on what's happened so far. I've been very, very busy. I've got my notebook here. We've made our reservations as far as hotels and flights. We have our itinerary. We've asked for folks to join us as citizens and as board members. Sally and her sister will be joining us. We've had from the Sister Cities Inc. folks some interest on a part of their membership that Candy had communicated to me. So I think there were 1, 2, 3, or
Maybe
4?
three.
3? Okay. Dr. Douglas,
Patty.
Giraldi, and
Oh, Brandy
Brandy Fuentes.
Rentas, yes.
So all 3 have a close connection to our program. And so we can go ahead and, with the board's level of interest, I can investigate with them, see their background, and sort of gauge. Dr. Douglas, Jonna Douglas, accompanied us on the 55th anniversary trip, so she's already been vetted in the field, if you will. But the other 2 folks, Patty Giraldi is Lucas's mother, and Brandy Fuentes is the mother of a student that's gone in the past.
Yes.
And they have hosted a family in the past.
Yes.
So they do all have a close connection to our program.
It's nice.
Great.
Like it. Is that a decent size? I mean, so you've got council members, have you got all the council members and the mayor going, or just?
All but Councilmember Polblaze and his wife. So that
Oh,
would be
okay.
10 travelers representing the city government. Currently, we're at 2 citizens, but if we add these 3, that will bring us to 15, which would be in the 15-20 range that we had said we would bring.
Right.
Have you been in contact with Linda Damsky?
I've not. No.
Okay, I think she was waiting for you to contact her maybe,
Oh,
but
okay.
I will,
I'm
I
happy to
thought that's what
contact
we
her,
said,
yeah.
but anyway.
I'm sorry, I didn't
That's-
know.
Linda Damsky, because I can't go on that trip, Linda was already planning to be in Japan at that time, so she would like to participate with the delegation as my representative of the school board.
And she's the SOBA representative, isn't she?
She is the.
Misa Sue?
No, not SOBA.
Miso.
Miso, yeah, right. We were this
What's that?
Mira
city.
Komi.
Marukome, yeah. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I think it's.
Miso. Miso Easy, I think is the
They
brand.
made her the official.
She was the official
delegate.
rep? Oh, okay.
When we went for a tour.
That's great.
Oh, it was funny.
She was planning to go at that time
They were very serious
anyway,
about it,
and
by the way.
so.
They were, yeah,
They
right?
were not-
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know, Linda
Joke.
has such a long history with the
Yeah,
exchanges, so.
She's very comfortable with the language and all that,
right,
so
right,
it's
yeah.
great.
One thing that I did want to bring up to the board is I've been looking for a translator. And I approached a couple translation services and the prices were astronomical, or that they had no staff available.
Excuse me, Christopher, you want somebody that's here that goes with it?
That goes with us,
Okay.
yes. We will have some assistance from
Oh,
international relations.
so you mean an interpreter?
An interpreter.
Okay.
Not a, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I was just thinking, oh, well, I have translation services
Yeah,
I can
right.
recommend.
Right, no,
Okay.
this would be a traveling interpreter with us that
Okay.
would stay with the delegation through.
Mm.
We were fortunate in that we had one last time, Fumi.
Yeah.
I can't find her information. I did just go to a storage unit and get a lot of paperwork out the other day that had been shuffled around since my departure. So I will look through that now. But I've also contacted, as I said, a few interpretive services. I think one of them quoted me $12,000 was going to be the fee.
Wow.
The Josephs, when the students came last year, the Josephs, and Hannah was one of the students that went with me, they had a friend who hosted one of the students this last year.
Okay.
But it's a Japanese woman who's lived in the United States for 20 or 30 years.
Oh.
And that could be, if you contacted Christina Joseph, I don't remember, I think the woman's name is Reiki or something like that. But if you contact Christina Joseph, she could get you in touch with her, and she would probably be a really good candidate for that.
Great.
What
Or at
happens?
least a
Do
source
we-
of someone else potentially.
Yeah, exactly. She
Yeah.
might know somebody else around.
What happens? Do we pay, does the city pay for the way of that
We pay a
person?
stipend for them.
Uh-huh,
We also pay for their travel, their lodging.
Okay.
They're taken care of the
sure,
whole time.
okay. And aren't there some Japanese women and men in sister cities, ain't that?
There are, and we have Yeko Volp on our
Okay.
board, who is actually from Nagano, that she's been there this summer. I don't know if she'd be willing to go back,
Right.
but I could talk to her, and she might be able to give me some, and I might have Fumi's
Okay.
email that she gave me from the last trip, if it's still good.
Okay.
Thank you. I knew I'd be able to get some information before. I wanted to come back with something a little more substantive than this is extremely expensive.
Right, we
right.
have Betty Rio, but I don't know how much she's speaking Japanese right now.
Betty's fluent now, but she's got a full-time
She's
job.
got a full-time job.
She lives there. She lives in Matsumoto, but she's got a full-time job.
She had been a chaperone for
Chaperone,
us,
yeah.
and she ended up
That's great.
staying over there.
Yeah,
She's
she married a
got
Japanese man, and
Oh, wow.
she lives in Matsumoto
Rest is
and
history.
works full-time there, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, she was so busy, we couldn't get together. When
And
I was there, I was
gosh,
hoping
you
that we
didn't
would be
even
able
get
to
to
get
see her?
together, and they're just,
No.
we were very, very busy too.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, it just didn't work out. So we texted each other a lot while I was there.
And I don't think my group was able to get with her either,
Yeah, yeah.
and they usually do. But
And my one consideration is that they are comfortable interpreting for an official capacity.
Right,
I know that
right.
that can sometimes be a level of stress that some folks might
That's
not
right.
want to take on.
Mhm.
The good news is that the sorts of speeches are not going to be technical, and, they are going to be more.
Not so esoteric
Yeah.
that you're not gonna be.
Right, right,
translate for everything.
exactly. But that's good.
Still.
But I'll ask around too.
Thank you.
Sure.
But the business meetings, as I recall, they kind of dig deep on some of those things. And we had some,
Yeah.
circle meetings, remember, where the
And
city
when we
officials
do go
met?
to council chambers,
Yeah.
they have representatives essentially from their ministries of tourism and
Right.
agriculture and economy.
Yeah.
And that, I think even Paige was having some trouble
Mhm.
with some of those.
Right. The new interpreter for the city there is named Alexandra. I didn't get to meet her,
Okay.
but several people told me about her because Sala was leaving, because Paige left whenever, a year or 2 years ago. And Sala was in for a couple of years, and now it's going to be somebody named Alexandra starting the 1st of August, I think.
Okay.
So they'll have an interpreter there too, and that's
Correct.
usually from the JET program. So they're
Mhm.
American or Australian primarily, but could be British or something. But
Okay. But typically
Great.
native.
yeah, a native English speaker.
Wonderful.
Well, we have one more meeting before we go, but it's probably kind of good to think about. I mean, I'm sure you are, Christopher, thinking about, okay, what do we want to accomplish on this trip?
Yes.
What is our goals, and what water do we want to carry to them, and what do we want to handle? I mean, we got a lot of things discussed at some of the city meetings last time.
Is
What we
is
could
the
do.
What is the date of our
itinerary
next meeting?
more or less the same that Natalie shared with us? Do you know?
Possibly, I think so.
It's only like a day and a half in Nagano.
Oh, no, it's changed now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was hoping to hear.
Because, yeah, I still had it on the 24th with the dates.
Yeah, we need to
arrived,
talk about that.
to Nagano directly, actually. Let me give you a little background on that. The Clearwater Jazz Holiday 40th anniversary was the same weekend as when we were originally going to depart.
Ah,
And so we
think White
bumped
mentioned that.
back the departure
Mhm.
a day or two to allow for the council to be there during the Saturday night official 40th
Mhm.
shindig. And so we will depart on Sunday the 20th. We arrive directly to Narita on Monday the 21st and take the Shinkansen to Nagano that afternoon. We'll be in Nagano Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay, good.
So we will go to Togakushi. We will go to.
Oh, we're going to do, yay,
Hmm?
basket. I'm just saying yay,
Oh,
to
yeah.
go to Togakushi.
Yes. On Wednesday, we'll meet with the mayor, the council, and the chambers. We will meet in the city council's forum, and then we have our anniversary reception that evening. Thursday, we will go to Matsushiro. The inn is under construction right now, so we'll be staying nearby, and we'll have a invitational dinner there as part of the mayor. And then Friday morning, we will go to Ichiritsu High School.
Nice.
And spend about 2 hours there, interacting with the students and the staff. And then off we go to Kanazawa. That is on Friday. Saturday, we go to Kyoto. Sunday, we leave from Kyoto to Tokyo. And we have the afternoon of Sunday, Monday, and the beginning part of Tuesday in Tokyo.
Nice.
Well,
Oh,
jam-packed.
that sounds great. It is jam-packed, but that's great. I love it that they've got more time in Nagano. I couldn't believe that it was only going to be a
Just
day
one
and a
day.
half
Oh,
in
wow.
Nagano.
Okay, yeah.
That's great.
One curiosity is what I have on my calendar is October 24th for the next Sister City board meeting.
So we need to change that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And that would be right smack in the middle of that.
I-
You'll be a little hard to
13 hours
reach.
ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
Yeah.
That was my
Um,
first question.
Pat, can we do I guess we can cancel that meeting and notice an earlier date?
A special, you could have a
Special
special
meeting?
meeting.
Okay.
But I don't have the calendar here. We need
Okay.
to know when this is open.
Okay.
So maybe the 17th?
Thursday, probably a Thursday
Mhm.
at the same time.
Right.
Um,
So the
Then we could even
10th or
do
the 17th?
in September as well if
Let me look and see what I have here.
Oh, that'd be
So
good.
looking at September,
Yeah, I couldn't
September
do the 10th or the
26th
17th.
looks open.
No, I'm completely booked.
we. Do we have any openings on September 26th, 4 o'clock?
I'm good for that date.
I
I'm
might
good
be
for
in Colorado.
Okay, how about the 19th looks okay?
Of September.
I'm out of town then.
Colorado.
I'm good for it.
What about the first
That's- doesn't
October
work for me.
Thursday?
October 3rd?
October 3rd is a Thursday?
I'm good for that one.
I can't do that one.
Oh, Pam.
I'm sorry,
I know you.
it's gotta be way far in advance for me to be able to get.
Right.
What about the 10th?
I can do the 26th, I can't do the 10th or the 17th.
So 26th will be in the middle of that.
26th of September.
Oh, 26th of.
That's of the dates you've mentioned so far, that's the only one that works for me, but Candy's out of town.
But let's,
How many
let's go ahead with it then, if that
Numbers
works.
for a quorum?
With
our board?
1, 2,
4.
3, 4, 5, 6. We need 4.
I may be back, I may be driving my daughter home, and we would leave about the 21st of September, so we should be back here
Yeah,
by
pick it
then.
up, Candy. Just move right along.
And we would have Lucas
Yeah.
by then.
And maybe
hopefully
Hoyt.
would be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were there, do we know if there were applications for the community representative? Okay,
Um,
because that was put out at the same time as the student.
Right. Like, there were some emails from clerks saying that we still had the vacancy.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't believe that, that Judy sent over any mention of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe if you have a contact at Monan, you can get in touch with them and.
Yeah, and it would need to go to council, but that gives us August and the beginning of September to have them go through the council review.
Right.
So we'll put
So
it
we're
on our
gonna
calendars
tentatively put
tentatively
it
for the
at the
26th
26th?
of September.
September 26th.
Great.
Okay. Item number 6, Director's Report.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to welcome back Christopher Hubbard.
Very nice to meet Mr. Hubbard.
He's always been a friend of
He's been a
Clearwater
real
Sister
champion.
Cities, and we're very excited to have him back.
Yes.
I'd also like to thank Mike Lavery for stepping up
Yes.
in Natalie's absence, and he helped us quite a bit. So I want to say thank you to both. Our young ambassadors traveled to Japan June 5th to the 19th. The families and the students seemed very happy. We did a post survey, and everything seemed very positive. They're looking forward to making their presentations to the city council, probably sometime in September, possibly.
That's one of the things I was going to ask.
You'll let us know when that's going to happen.
We had a tasting event on May 11th in Dunedin, and we had it in Dunedin because our board members were able to work the Highland Games and get the location for free. But however, we're still working with the Clearwater Historical Society. We didn't get the displays put up as we were hoping. We were working with the city to try to get some of the artifacts moved down. I'm not sure exactly where we are with that. I know there were some problems with insurance and security to put these in the Historical Society, but we are trying to establish a relationship with them. And actually, they have rooms that possibly we can hold some of our events in the future. And we've also been talking with them about doing a Japanese garden. We were hoping.
Nice idea.
Great idea.
We were hoping to have some of this stuff all in place when our Nagano visitors come, so that, and maybe it could be an exhibit that opens up when they come. So we've got stuff going. Again, we have to get it, figure out where the city is with some of the artifacts.
Right. I'll put my,
Yeah.
my power behind that as well. You know, having been in contact with Bill Wallace and the Historical Society since the early days when they were still trying to find a place to be. And so, you know, regarding the insurance, we'd be able to do a temporary loan. That temporary being a malleable term. But I believe that they would be covered under the city's insurance as they're not fixed assets because they don't have an asset tag, but they are within the city's purview. So I'll double check that with risk management, but I'm fairly comfortable that things will be covered there.
I think you have some expertise in this, so you might be able to help facilitate this. Upcoming events, August 1st, and thank you to Chris for helping us get the location. Our young ambassadors are doing a presentation to the board, to a kind of a pre-presentation for the city council. And then September 7th, again, thank you, Christopher, we are doing a moon viewing festival at Moccasin Lake. A couple years ago, we had a Tanabata festival, but that was in the summer. This one, we're trying something different, but we think Moccasin Lake will be a great location to hold this event. November 3rd, our Hamburger Mary's, and that's our main event to raise money for our scholarship funds. We are anxious to start planning the Nagano visitors coming in 2020, and as always, we offer that we will host them for an event.
Thank you.
Usually, you know, we've done, I think, the Sheraton Sand Key, we had a dinner one time, and the last time was on the boat.
Yes.
Our board likes the boat events, and we'd kind of like to do that again if
Okay.
the city is not
Yep.
going to do that. And we thought maybe Nagano didn't want the students next year because of the Olympics, but apparently they are still planning for the students to come, and so those exchanges will still be going on next summer.
Something that was said to me repeatedly while we were there was we didn't know anything at all about our host families until really, like, I learned about mine 3 days before we left on the trip. The students got theirs a little bit earlier, but they said that because there were so many middle school students this year, that they had a terrible time finding host families for us. So I'm wondering, has anybody talked to you about maybe limiting the number of students?
See, and that's honestly not the problem. That we did ask them, we had more students, we had 19 students apply. Asked them if we could bring more, they said no. 10 is usually the number we take. But we have the same problem the last few years, that it's the last minute, like a couple days before the kids are going. You know, and that's why the host family situation is difficult on both ends, but it's.
They specifically
harder.
told me that because they had used so many families with the middle school students, that those families didn't want to do it again so quickly. And so they couldn't find host families for us.
Yeah, so we did the 10 that we've always done.
Oh, okay, they told me it was more than usual.
No, it was only the 10.
Okay.
They wouldn't let us bring any more because they said the host families. And it just so happened this year, the teachers all stayed at a temple. So one person hosted all 3
The
teachers.
Masudas?
I'm not sure, but they said it was wonderful.
Oh, yeah, that.
It was
that's
wonderful.
fantastic.
So they only had one host for the 3 teachers. And we've been sending 3 teachers and 10 students for as long as, at least the last
Right.
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't
That's interesting.
understand why they said that.
Yeah, I
But
don't know
I
either.
think, like us, it's getting harder and harder to get reliable host families.
Well, and it is the same host families over and over a lot of the times. And that's great. I mean, you know, they're wonderful. I mean, amazing host families. We had such good experiences. But I know that that's an issue for us too. And so if we had to find, 15 host families all at the same time, that would be tough, or 13.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, so that kind of confuses me because we wanted to go over, but they told us no. But they said I think they send like 12 or 13 students with
We've had
2 or 3
12,
adults.
Yeah.
How many days are your students in Nagano?
They're there for a week, I think.
Okay. Because I know the students, the Nagano, they're only here like 4 days.
Yeah, they don't stay here. And
They're very
that's been
short.
kind of a request on our end that they stay longer.
Mhm.
Because they're
Right.
not here long enough to
Right.
do
Yeah,
anything.
Exactly. They get like one partial day in schools.
Well, you've kind of raised the issue, Pam, and, Christopher, you need to keep your ear to the ground on that, and we will when we go over there too.
Right,
See if there's a-
right.
If it's a real problem, or,
Yeah.
if
I
there's someone we
thought
can-
that maybe you brought 15 kids this
No.
year or something, because it was mentioned to me by multiple people multiple times. And so in Japan, that's, tantamount to them hitting me over the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
So, I was really surprised by that. Because even Fumi, who has nothing to do with any of that, mentioned it to me like 3 times, what a tough time they had finding host families because it was so soon. And all of our visits are roughly the same time. The 2 teachers go, your chaperones go, your group goes, and the high school kids go. So we're close to overlapping. So, I don't know what we can do about that because summer is really pretty much our time.
See, and I always thought it would be better to overlap because you could do one sayonara party instead of the expensive.
But they don't
two,
see it, and
they don't
see,
see it that
those
way.
are kind of like city council and the school board are totally different entities. They're all covered within their city council, which is also their school board and everything else, but their different departments handle each of the 3 programs. And so it's really, really, they're separate from each other and don't necessarily know. But I think the reason that I kept hearing about it was because I was talking to Kanazawa-san, who's in charge of the teacher program, and Fumi and Morita-san, who were with the high school program. And so they're like, wow, those middle school kids took all of our host families, and so none of them wanted to repeat again. Just, I think we arrived, I don't know, 5 days after you left or something. And so, they were saying, oh, it was really hard. It was really hard.
And, the other thing, though, is they try to put the middle school students with middle school families.
Right.
And the high school students with high school families.
Right.
So
Well, but
unless
a lot of those families are the
Or
same
same
families because
families.
they have multiple kids and some of them are in high school and some of them are in middle school. And that was, Jace ended up staying with a family that had daughters in high school. And they apologized over and over, and we said, it's okay. We're not distressed, because the boys, they had 2 boys and 2 girls. And the boys one was junior high and one was elementary. But you should have seen Jace with him. It was like, he was the quintessential
He was
older brother.
okay,
They
right?
adored him. So it was really special.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great, actually. But anyway, just
Yeah.
something for us all to think about.
Okay.
And see if maybe while you're there, you can, if it's mentioned, feel out what their suggestion might be,
Yeah.
to alleviate that problem.
And being present with them
Mhm.
might allow for a little bit more communication that might not normally be spelled out in an email.
Exactly.
Which I guess, too, my thought is if they bring 12, should we make it so we all just bring 10 or we all just bring 9?
Right.
Or it
Right.
should be, to me, it should be maybe a consistent number with both exchanges.
Right, well, that's a point too. If they say, really, it would be better for us to only have 8, then maybe say, all right, if that's the case, then we'll bring 8 and you send 8. That kind of thing. That seems like,
Yeah.
I think it
yeah.
should
And
be
that, I
the
think
same.
they would like that too. I think they would
Yeah.
like that understanding.
Anything
That is it,
further
yes,
for?
I'm done.
What
Okay.
was the date for the Moon Festival? I missed
The Moon Festival is September 7th
7th. Thank you.
at Moccasin Lake.
That's all that I have for you.
Okay. Item number 7. Are there any issues, any information that a board member wishes to present that has not been mentioned yet?
I would like to continue something that's already been mentioned. I would like to know when we want the students to present to the board. I think that their city council, that would be great if we could have that date and I can start working with the kids. And I've already told them, to get started preparing, but yeah, if we could get a date on the calendar, yeah, that would be great.
And I think it does work nicely if the high school does it and then we come out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that last time.
Yeah.
I think it was really fun when the middle school and the high school kids were the same day, and I thought it was really cool.
And the council enjoyed it. That was clear.
I will look that up for you.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no other business, I'll move to adjourn.
And we'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned.
Yay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Nice job, Chairman.
Did I do better?
You did a
Did I
great
do
job.
better?
I'm impressed.
Thank you for the cheat sheet.
Yeah,
Because
no
I
worries.
studied and I called Christopher and, so,
That was a tight meeting. Good job.
yeah. Become an old hat at this soon.
So Chris, is it just like,
So let me look
That's
up.
okay.
Just like I did.
Now I do a 2-day part-time job at Woodcraft. It is a